Hello, Ian Yanovich here for another edition of Wednesday's Wonders. A few weeks ago, I did a wonder on the happy driver versus the sad driver. But let's be fair, it was primarily focused on the young, inexperienced driver. With that being said, it's only fitting that I might do one on the older driver. So today's wonder is, I wonder what is the difference between a good old driver and a bad old driver. And to do so, I once again asked my art department to come up with some illustrations that might help illustrate the salient points in this matter. So let's get started. First of all, the bad old driver. They know that there are two settings on every car's turn signals, or blinkers as we like to call them down here. Well, there are two settings. One is called the left and the other is called the right turn signal or blinker. So the older driver might drive for miles and miles and miles with the left turn signal on and then suddenly decide to turn right. Well, that doesn't always equal to a very positive outcome now, does it? Whereas the good old driver, well, the good old driver, he's a member of the Squirrel Guard. That's correct. He's an official member of the Squirrel Guard. Now, that's a very important position because that requires that the good old driver sit in the passenger seat and monitor the roads and stay vigilant for those squiggly, wiggly little creatures that like to dart out in front of the road and scare those young, inexperienced drivers and cause them to have an accident. Can you believe that? So it's a very important position to be a member of the Squirrel Guard, and all good old drivers are a lifetime member. Now, the bad old driver, let's get back to that. The bad old driver seems to think that the freeways are a very friendly place to be. Matter of fact, he calls them the friendly freeways because every time he's driving down in the center lane, he notices that people are passing him on either side of the road. And they're honking their horns and they're waving at him all the time and they're saying things to him and greeting him. Things like, like something hello or something like that. That's what it sounds like to him anyway. But they're friendly freeways. Now, the good old driver, once again, he has official duties because he is an active member of the Tree Counting Society. Yes, you've all heard of that, I'm sure. And we've all heard the rumors about the nifty, nasty little ninjas that run about at night and they steal the trees. That's correct. Well, somebody has to be responsible for maintaining the inventory of trees, now don't we? So a good old driver is a member of the Tree Counting Society, so he sits on the passenger seat and he counts all the trees on the way from point A to point B, and then again from point B to point A to do an accurate inventory of the trees along the road. Now, the bad old driver will occasionally arrange for private transportation because old people sometimes have to go to the doctor. I know that myself. You have to go to the doctor sometimes. So a bad old driver arranges private transportation to the doctor on a regular basis. He finds that his private transportation gets him to the nearest medical facility very fast, and it has very pretty lights and a very cute horn that goes woo, 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 woo. It's quite exciting for that bad old driver. Whereas the good old driver, well, you see, the good old driver, he gets a check from the federal government every month, and with that check comes a lot of responsibilities. One of the responsibilities is the good old driver has to be a road monitor. That's correct. He has to sit in the passenger seat and he has to monitor and advise the young, more inexperienced driver as to how they're driving. And that responsibility, it even comes with a clipboard. Yes, it's very official. So he has to sit there and take notes so that he can give accurate and correct advice and sometimes criticism, I might say, because it's just necessary to give a little criticism, but it'll all be on his official clipboard when he gets to his destination. So the good old driver, in some conclusion here, is one who much prefers to sit at home on his favorite lounge chair, having a bite to eat, and maybe watching his favorite rerun of Bonanza. Quite a good thing to do, and he sits at home and does that and enjoys himself. Whereas the bad old driver, well, he likes to actually get into the driver's seat and turn the engine on and actually go somewhere. And that doesn't always come to a good conclusion because he gets in and he tries to find the pedals and touch all the pretty knobs before he goes. And all of a sudden, well, things just happen to the bad old driver. So in conclusion, I guess it's fair to say a good old driver is a smart old driver. And the good old driver knows how to let others come by and chauffeur him to wherever he wants to go. Takes time to learn things like that. It comes with experience, but a little bit of advice from me. So with that, that's our Wednesday Wonder, but I've decided that from now on, with every wonder I give you, I'm going to ask you a question. And you have to promise that you will share that answer of that question with 3 people that you know. So today's question is a 3-part question. The first question is, what was the happiest time of your life? Second question is, what was the saddest time of your life? And the third question is the most important, what is the difference? With that being said, I'll let you go. I'll see you next week for another Wednesday Wonder. I wonder what that'll be. Bye.